Who else do I see there? There's my friend Diane, also from Illinois. Look at this. We are all across the U.S. Mark, do you see Diane? I told you she was still around. Diane, do you see Mark? Can you see each other? Mark is still adding in here. Lynn, come over here and say hi, Diane. Can you see her? There she is.
Supposed to use got it.
Hi, Diane.
All she can see is here. Her face.
Sorry.
There you go.
I think we got to hit got it. That's going to stay in the middle there.
All right. Oh, I have to hit got it. Okay. We are getting our technology ready. So thank you for bearing with us here in this moment in time. We have some of our artists have already joined us. That would be Lorraine Fortner has joined us. We have Rachel Meyer has joined us. I'm looking at all of our artists so far. And it looks like Diane Williams has joined us. Even look at this. We are rocking. I love it. I'm going to pull up the Facebook here, Cats and Kittens, just in case some of you are locked in there and are confused. It happens. Give us one moment. We are professionals. We are starting at 7:02. Oh, heck no. We have to start at 7:10, right?
What is Temple Beth? What's that one?
That would be Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be Mark. For those of you who are just joining in, this is our 3rd annual. Can you get excited, Mark?
3!
This is our 3rd annual Art and Music Cafe. This is a beautiful thing. We couldn't do it for a couple years, so that's all we're going to say. We're happy to be here. This is what makes it happen. And who knew we had all of this beautiful technology? Looks like Mark is still trying to sign in there. So I'm going to give it a few minutes, if you don't mind. I guess I will introduce, because we're going to wait for a few more people to show up here. I'm going to kind of begin our introductions. Has spotlighted. Okay, there we go. So tonight is going to be kind of loosey-goosey. We do have our artists who have already featured and sent us some beautiful photography and artwork. So that is firm. But the stuff that happens in between with Mark Gilbert and I, everyone give Mark Gilbert a hand.
Yay!
He has to, yay, and the crowd goes wild. He has to deal with me, so he deserves lots of love and praise for that. Yeah, what he says about me behind my back, I'm telling you. So throughout this program, we hope to introduce you to some new artists, to some of our returning artists from the first 2 Art and Music Cafe events that we did. They are all sharing their own individual perceptions and journeys through their unique artistic expressions. That's what this is about. Some express with canvas, some with a lens, and some with a piece of hand-picked wood, right? In addition, as you know, Mark Gilbert and I have selected a few of our favorite songs to present in this acoustic coffee shop-like setting for hopefully your listening enjoyment. What do you think, Mr. And here's another Mark. We have a lot of Marks with us. Mark Gruenberg is our Oz behind the curtain. Do you think it's a good time for us to start? Should we give a few more moments? I will follow your lead. If I don't hear from you,
totally up to you. If you want to go ahead and start, we can do the first song.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'd like to introduce a little Russian Jewish folk song as translated by Theodore Bickel. And you've heard many, many, many different interpretations of this, I'm sure. Here's one of our favorite. Could you put the words up for this particular song, Mr. Gruenberg? Since we'll be doing a little bit of the Yiddish, what we're doing is we are putting the English translation on the screen so that you will know what we're singing to you. And it tells a story, it's about love, and it has a little riddle at the end also. But let's start with Tumba Leicha. Can we go to the chorus first and then go back to that first verse? Which I believe will be your second screen. He loves me. Tumba la, tumba la, tumba la like. Tumba la, tumba la, balalaika, oh, spiel balalaika, balalaika, frelek soll sein. Strum the instrument and may we be happy. Stete Woche ohne Trakt, a Trakt Trakt, a ganze Nacht. Wenn man zusammen und nicht verschämen, wenn man zusammen und nicht verschämen. Everyone on the chorus, we'll see your mouths moving, we'll know you're singing. Tumbala, tumbala, tumbala like. Tumbala, tumbala, tumbala like. Tumbala like, oh, spiel balalaika. Tumbala like, frelek soll sein. Now we'll go to the verse that starts a question. It's the beginning of the riddle. Here it goes to the next screen. Here we go. Mädel, Mädel, will de befreien, was kann wachsen on Regen, was kann brennen ohne Tropfen, was kann brechen, brennen on Tränen. So you see, girl, I want to ask of you, what can grow and grow without rain? What can burn and never end? What can yearn and cry without tears? Let's do the answer. You ready? Here's the answer. Narische Woche, was darfst du freien? A Stein kann wachsen an Regen. Liebe kann brennen ohne Tropfen. A Herz kann brennen an Tränen. Foolish lad, why do you have to ask? You know that a stone can grow and grow without rain, and love can burn and it never ends, and a heart can yearn and cry without tears. Let's go back to the chorus, shall we? You ready? Here we go. Tumbala, tumbala, tumbala like. Tumbala, tumbala, tumbala like. Tumbala like, oh, spiel balalaika. Tumbala like, frelek soll sein. May we be happy. Yes. Here we go. Our first featured presenter, Mr. Dave London, comes back to us after being there from the first and the second year, and a big supporter behind the scenes for us too. What should I say about Dave London? You know what? I got some notes here. I love this. He got involved in photography because it was something his older brother did, and he looked up to him. His father built him a small dark room in what was a closet under the stairway to the basement. We can go to his first photo if you don't mind. Go to the first photo for us. There we go. His brother was a photographer for the local newspaper, the high school yearbook, and other local activities. So when he graduated from high school, even though Dave was still in junior high, he inherited all of those responsibilities. He became the sports photographer for the local newspaper and photographer for the high school yearbook. You go talk to them, please. His dad allocated a much larger area in the basement, and he built a new dark room that allowed Dave to meet overnight deadlines. His dad had an advertising agency that specialized in real estate, so Dave also started doing some photography for him on brochures and new housing. After high school, he no longer did photography as a job, but just as a hobby. He uses photos as souvenirs of places where he's traveled and capture memories of family events. These photos that Dave has provided to us are some of his favorites that he's used to decorate his home and office. Let's go on to this one. The first one that we just put up here is the Arches in Utah. It's a sunset. It was taken in October of 2020. It was during the first year of the pandemic, and he and his fiance decided to take a road trip to Utah. I love this shot. It is beautiful. If anyone has ever been to the Arches Park, you know that this is just a glimpse here. All right, let's go on to the next one. Mama and baby rhino. He and Kim, his fiance, took a day trip out to the wilds in Cumberland, Ohio in October 2021. It is a wildlife preserve that's managed under the Columbus Zoo. Sometimes we don't even know what's right here in our own areas. They took the wild side tour, in which you ride on the back of a pickup and the driver can go off road to get closer views of the wildlife. Look at this sweet baby. The rhino was only a week old. I love it. I love it. All right, go for our next one, the Colosseum. One of the icons of a visit to Rome is that Colosseum. The photo was taken on a trip when he and his fiance went to Italy with their daughter. Hold on just a moment for me. Here we go. Sorry about that. Had to get myself a little drink. All right, so here we are at the Colosseum. We've seen many pictures. I know I have also of the Colosseum, but Dave is especially proud of this one because of the unusual perspective of being closer to it and looking up. The sky was perfect blue with just a couple of clouds for some contrast. Yay. All right, let's go on to the next one, Mark. Mount Denali. This was taken in May of 2019 when he and Kim went on an Alaskan tour that included a cruise and a stay in the Denali National Park. One of the excursions they went on was a flight in a small plane around the mountain. How cool that must have been. I know, I could just imagine the visual. And then they landed on a glacier. From what they were told, the mountain is usually hidden in clouds, so they were very fortunate that the skies were mostly clear for their flight, and they were able to get this photo on their way out. Isn't that beautiful? All right, here's the next one. This is my favorite of the ones that Dave sent us. Now I'm going to try to say it's San Gimignano. Make sure I say this correctly. This is in medieval Manhattan, Italy. Is referred to as a medieval Manhattan because at one time it had over 70 towers. They went there in 2013. The photo of the plaza, you see the plaza shot there, shows the shops with the table set up for outdoor dining and some of the towers in the background. The second is a view that Dave likes as he saw two of the major towers. They were talking through one of the archways, and all of the people live, or one time lived in apartments within these tower buildings, is what my research told me. I just think that's amazing. That is amazing. So thank you, Dave London, for those beautiful shots. We have another song. I know we've got all age groups and all music styles here, but this particular song, when Mark said he wanted to do it, I thought, you know what? I remembered that the person who wrote this song was 12 years old when they wrote it. Any Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans? If I can see your hands, raise your hand. A little bit of history for us rock buffs. So Greg Lake wrote this again when he was 12 years old. It's a kid's song, he said, and it was kind of a medieval fantasy. He never wrote it on a piece of paper. He just remembered the words. So believe it or not, as we all know, it was probably one of their best known songs. It almost did not happen on an album. On the last day of recording their first album, they didn't have enough material to fulfill their contract requirements of the 21 minutes per album side. Remember albums? Album side? Greg Lake said, everybody looked around and said, anyone got more material? And there was dead silence. So I said, well, I got this thing I wrote when I was a kid. Then Keith said, will you play it and let's have a listen. So I played it and nobody liked it. I said, yeah, but we don't have anything else. So Keith said, well, you record it on your own and I'm going down the street to the pub. So he left. So he and Carl Palmer recorded the first part with drums and acoustic guitar and it sounded awful. He honestly said it sounded dreadful. But then they added some bass and it sounded better, and they thought about putting in some harmonies. It wasn't bad. It started to sound kind of like a record. Well, the end of the song contains one of the most famous Moog synthesizer solos in rock history. So Keith Emerson had just recently gotten this device, this new thing people were talking about, and decided to play it on the song only after hearing the track, and then realized maybe it's a good song. Here's the cool thing. It does not have a happy ending, as you know, but Lucky Man has riches and acclaim. He decides to fight for his country, as you know, the character. He gets shot and he dies. Greg Lake says that even though he wrote the song when he was very young, the story was always the same. The lyrics never changed. Strangely enough, here's where I like the cool part of the history. Over time, the way people perceived the song changed. Perhaps it was vaguely something to do with the Vietnam War, that period, or just at the end of the Vietnam War. Some people associated it with the John F. Kennedy assassination. It had all sorts of overtones. It was connected in a way to an era that there was a lot of war and drama, but the lyrics really got interpreted in a way that he never intended them, of course, when he wrote it as a very young boy. So here's one of Mark's favorite songs.
He had white horses and ladies by the score, all dressed in satin and waiting by the door. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Lightness and feathers, they made up his bed. A gold-covered mattress on which he was laid. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. He went to fight wars for his country and his king, on his honor and his glory. The people, they would sing. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. A bullet had found him. His blood ran as he died. No money could save him, so he laid down and he died.
Thank you, Mark. Kind of a heavy song for a 12-year-old, wouldn't you say?
Kind of a fairy tale.
Yeah, I like. All right, let's go on to our next featured photographer, my friend Lorraine Fortner. Can you wave? Wave at us, Lorraine. Here you are. I know that this is her third year with us. She's been there from the very beginning. Lorraine has been a recreational photographer for many years. She had very little training, she says, other than field experience, I call it, since beginning in her 4-H activities. Her focus is on nature, whether big things like mountains and waterfalls or small things like insects and birds or anything in between. These pictures that she's featuring, and you can go ahead and start the first slide here for us. Thank you, Mark. These are from a trip to Guatemala just before the pandemic. I love these flowers. These are beautiful. They kind of have like a columbine look or something to them. Let's go on to that next one. And I'm wondering if there's anything, Lorraine, can you raise your hand so Mark can see you if there is something that you want to add to some of these? Because all I really know, I have a little bit about the next screen, I think. Is this the one with the pyramid? See if our next screen is. Yes.
Yeah, so the purple ones were sort of wrapped around a tree. So I think they were maybe kind of an orchid.
Oh, the flowers. Let's go back
Flowers.
a screen. Yes, could we real quick? Thank you, Mark, to the purple flowers. All right, what was that? You said they were wrapped around a tree?
So they're kind of growing up around this tree, but I think they're maybe like an orchid or something like that. I don't know for sure what they are, but.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's go to the pyramid. This is one of my favorites. I believe you said this is in the Mayan city that was settled circa 400 BCE. Is that correct?
Something like that. They estimate. There were on the listing, there are a whole bunch of different dates because apparently Tikal, which is where this is in Guatemala, was like a major Mayan metropolis, so to speak, with many pyramids of different types. And this just was thought a particularly nice picture among many of them.
And I'm trying to get the size of it. So, because I don't see a person standing close. Where would you come? Would you come up to about that first line of brick or the second line of brick?
So these are stairs going up the front. I'm pointing with my mouse. It's not helping anybody.
Okay.
But if you see like the bench right there in front of where the stairs are.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that gives you kind of a sense of where a person would be is standing up behind that bench, maybe.
Of the size.
A few steps. So maybe like to the first line of bricks, a block there.
Okay.
Goes way up.
That is helpful. Now, I believe the one after this is also one that I really like. Let's go to that next screen, Mark. So where did you see this beautiful creature?
It was by one of the hotels where we stayed.
In Guatemala?
In Guatemala.
Cool.
Yeah, these are all from Guatemala.
Wow. And he's checking you out like, yeah, what are you doing here? This is where I live.
Here's my food.
I wonder if the tourists feed them. They're probably not supposed to, are they?
No, we're not. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to that next slide for me. Oh, these flowers are gorgeous. Are they of the poppy family? Can you tell us? You just like the colors?
I don't think so, but I really just like the colors. They're
gorgeous, especially the star type one, the star shapes. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, now I did have a question. Do you know what kind of a bird this is in that last screen?
The next one.
Yes, he is gorgeous.
I think he's actually a little hummingbird.
Okay, because
who had been buzzing around, but he finally sat still long enough for me to get a decent picture of him.
So does that tell you anything about the patience and the timing of a good photographer to be able to catch this bird not going 100 miles an hour? That's beautiful, Lorraine. Thank you. That is beautiful. Wow. All right, I think it's time for another song. How about a little Everly Brothers for you? There was a little bit of tidbit on this too.
Go for it.
Trivia. Did you know that Chet Atkins played on this recording?
This song? Wow.
Yes, he did on the recording with the Everly Brothers. That was 1958? 58? Yeah. Who knew? Chet Atkins, he played with everybody. He played with everyone. All right, you're in charge, Mark.
When I need you to hold me tight.
want to send that out to Papa, who is somewhere watching. That's Stephen, who was originally supposed to be with us. He and Mark spent all this time working on all these songs, and Papa got a little of that seasonal crud. So let's send lots of healing prayers to Papa, and we will see him at the live event when we do all of this in person. Yay! Because in case some of you were wondering, this is, as we said, it is a sneak preview of what it will be like when we actually get in person to do it in the big room with food and drink and chit chat and opening up the open stage to all of my friends who want to sing. And do I see Dr. Judy Chess in there? Yes, I do, because I made her get up and do Ba Mir Bist Du Shane with me at the last year we did the event. So we have a little time to practice, don't we? I love it. Our next featured artist, could we get Rachel Meyer ready? Rachel, are you on screen where we can see you at all? Where maybe Mark can see you just so we can highlight you and you can wave?
Yeah, I think, is my camera on now?
It may be. I know Mark can see everyone. So let's say hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
She graduated from Macalester College in 2018 with a BA in studio art. She mainly works with mixed media, collage, ink, and printmaking mediums, but she continuously likes to experiment. There she is. Hi, Rachel. I see you.
Hi.
All right, so let's go to the first one and let's see if I do you proud here, Rachel. We are so happy to have you here and we look forward to having you in person at the next event.
Excited
All
to
right.
be here.
This is I Have Been, I Will Go, correct? All
Yep.
right. All right. It is approximately 23 inches wide by about 16 inches high. It's a mixed media collage work. It is made of everything from beach glass to magazine pieces to twine to torn bits of her prints. The concept behind it is a self-portrait, as she loves to travel and she loves adventure. The 18, some of you may know, on her forehead represents Chai, life in the Jewish faith. She wants to travel for adventure, but also to learn and experience new places and new people. How you like this so far? Experiencing new things today?
Yeah, definitely. I've never done this before.
And neither have we. Art show in the virtual world. All right, Mr. Grunberg, could we go to the second slide for Rachel? Forest Vacation. I love this one. It is about 11 inches wide and about 13 inches high. It's a mixed media collage work. She said that her favorite aspect of mixed media is the detail, and I agree because you pull it out very well. This work is one of her favorites because she has a few hidden words. If we have time to see this piece, yes. In the background, she used the colors in the papers that captured the creativity and the serenity of the forest.
Are you a musician?
Because you've got some music.
Yeah, because you have music back there.
I have played music before. I sing for fun, but nothing formal.
Very nice.
Are you talking to us? So that means when we do the open stage, you will probably be one of our features. You'll come up and hum a few tunes with us.
I'd be open to it.
See, she didn't say no.
There you go.
I like it. And
Can't back out now.
for those of you who may know, that's a part of the concept of the original Art Music Cafe, was an open stage setting where people could just come up and have fun. So we want you to encourage and think about this. Oh, you know what song I would do with them if I was there? And you're going to put this on your list. I know you are. All right, let's go to that next slide. Do you want to introduce this or do you want me to keep going forward, Rachel, now that I got you on screen?
Either way, I can if that's easier.
Okay,
So-
I'd like you to talk about the one that we're going to do last, my favorite one. How's that? I want you
Oh,
to
okay.
talk about that one. All right. So Leaves is the title of this. It's about 12 inches wide by about 9.5 inches high. It's a linoleum block reduction print. That's a very cool technique. Yeah. In reduction prints for each layer of the print, more of the block is carved away. This means that by nature, it's a limited edition print. She wanted to explore color in this print as well as take the risks that come with high stakes carving. It's one example of many different color combinations. That's trying something new. Very nice. Very nice, Rachel. Thank you. All right, let's go on to, oh, this is the one that she said was inspired by finding out about our art show, our art music cafe. She's calling this Armchair Adventures. It's about 10, almost 11 inches wide and about 8.5 inches high. She thought about what being Jewish means to her, and a huge aspect of that is creativity and education. Amen. So I thought, why not combine the two together? This is a collage made of scraps. She loves doing art this way because it recycles old scraps and has so many memories of old projects. Stories have always been her escape, and she hopes that her art can mirror this type of adventure. I'd like to get up close and see what stories you've included there.
I think there's a little bit of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Is
There
there?
might be Harry Potter in there.
Of course.
I think there's part of a calendar in there. Part of it actually was I took a bookmaking class and there's scraps from there. So it's a little bit of everything, which is the fun part of these.
It is. How long does it take to make like a piece like that, Rachel?
It's hard for me to guess because I lose time a little bit. But I think this one probably took somewhere between like 5 to 9 hours.
And you know, I think you just said something very powerful there. When you lose time as an artist, whether it's writing a song or painting on a canvas or out in nature taking pictures of wildlife, it's time disappears because the creative process has to go through its whole process, and it doesn't even know what a calendar is or a watch. You are absolutely correct. That is beautiful. All right, let's let Rachel introduce this next one. You called it Finals.
So this is a screen print, and each different color is a different screen. So it's several different layers, and it started out as a Inktober drawing. If anyone's familiar with that, it was just a sketchbook, and I liked it enough to turn it into a screen print. So it's supposed to capture just kind of that franticness of like finals time or crunch time, whatever that may be, at whatever point you are in life. And this octopus has become a very common occurrence in my sketchbook drawings these days.
And as you called it, finals, being the student who is trying to keep many plates spinning. This is what we're saying, getting many things accomplished all at one time. Yes. I think I may have to talk to you about purchase of a print of that because it belongs above my desk. It's a self-portrait.
We could have played Octopus's Garden if I'd have known.
Oh, see? Now we know what to add next time.
There you go.
All right. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. Hang on. We've got lots more to come. And again, welcome Rachel as one of our new featured artists. Yeah.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. All right. So as we go forward, Hey John Koya. This song has a little bit of history in it. It's an example of how a piece of music can lead you into search of history. The John Koya, who is memorialized in this song, was a Jewish collective farm established during the Stalin era in the Crimean region of the Ukraine. There are a few rather dated recordings of this Yiddish song with lyrics translated by Pete Seeger. Among others, the Limelighters recorded the song in the early 1960s. The liner notes to the Limelighters recording describe the song as a farm song from Jewish settlements in the Crimea in the middle 20s. In addition to the Limelighters version, there's an earlier recording by Pete Seeger and one by Theodore Bickel. The political relevance is, of course, the recent events in the region that have resulted in Russia resuming a claim on this territory. This description of the song was written in 2014. Just thought you might want to know that. And what we'll do is we'll have fun. Let's go to the chorus first, Mark, if you don't mind, Mr. Grunberg, because I want them, as we go back and forth to the chorus, I would like them to sing and join us. Are you ready? John, hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. And go to the first verse. Here we go. That's what the chorus is going to repeat each time we come around to it, all right? Als man fort kann selber stoppen, ist nicht wenn zum Simferopel, deuten ist es Stanze voran. Wir darfst suchen, neue Glicken, ist es Stanze in ein Tickle, in John Koya, John, John, John. Now just to make it fun, I'm going to do the English. I know you have it on the screen with you. If you go to Sevastopol on the way to Simferopol, just a little further down, there they have a railroad station known quite well through all the nation, in John Koya, John, John, John. And let's go back to the chorus. Here we go. Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. Verse 2. En för jeden auf mein Kasche, vis min brida, visa brasche, skate bei ihm der Traktor via Bahn. Dem mein Lore bei der Kasilki, Balder Bear, Mulla Tilky, in John Koya, John, John, John. Let's do the English. You ready? Now if you go to paradise, you'll see it there before your eyes. Stop your search and go no further on. There we have a collective farm all run by Jewish, husky Jewish arms, in John Koya, John, John, John. Chorus. Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. Verse 3. Besorgt das jeden kann nicht handeln, Essen fett, Joik mit Mandeln, nur neid keinen Arbeitsmann. Das kennen Sorgen nur des Sonnem, jeden Speit seien Ponem, Titter kick up John, John, John. And in case you were wondering, Aunt Natasha drives the tractor, Grandma runs the cream extractor, while at work we all can sing our song. Who says that Jews cannot be farmers? Spit in their eye who wish to harm us. Tell them all John Koya, John. I want to see everyone's mouths moving. Are you ready? Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John Koya, John, John, John. Hey John Koya, hey John Billy, hey John Koya, hey John, John, John. And that is the magic of doing the open stage setting. You never know what's going to happen in a song, do you, Mark?
I'm just following you, dear.
Isn't he
Whichever
awesome?
way you go.
Isn't he awesome? All right, let's go to my next friend and returning photographer to our event, Dr. Judy Chesson. I know you were there a moment ago. Can you raise your hand if you would like to say something or talk? Because I want to make sure that I represent you well. I'm sure Mark is looking for your hand up somewhere in there. There she is.
Yay.
Is that Alan? Hi. And there's her support system. Hello, welcome.
And the dog. And the dog.
So, Judy was born in the Chicago area, close to the city and near Lake Michigan. She feels that both the urban environment and the lake and the dunes had a profound effect on her love of urban venues, as well as affection for all those natural landscapes that surrounded her. Her Instamatic camera as a child was always with her, because she has personal photographs that other family members do not possess. There's, yeah, talk about that scrapbook. It was at a young age that her love of history was sparked. What better way to document history than, of course, through photographs? Little did she know that the photographs of others would be instrumental in her ability to bring her doctoral dissertation to life. Nice. It was later that she developed a serious interest in photography, which was fueled by her love of travel, which you will see through these photos. While the national parks, Europe, Costa Rica, and other venues prominently stood out in her storehouse of photographs, many of her favorites were actually taken locally. The significant place that photography holds in her life has also buoyed by a darkroom course in black and white, which I love the black and white photography, and her membership into the Tripod Camera Club. You still a member with them?
I am.
You are? I love that. Through the talent and the willingness of many members to mentor and share their knowledge, she has learned volumes. She believes that photography helps individuals view things through so many different prisms and angles. When she pursues her photos following a photo shoot, she always attempts to view them thinking about how she can take the photo the next time. Now, the collection of photos, which is just a little tip of the iceberg that she has provided us, go ahead and go to the first one, if you don't mind, Mr. Grunberg. These collections of photos are from a trip to Israel taken just before the pandemic. The photos are a very tiny presentation of over 3,000 photos that she took while visiting. Would you like to describe this one? I love the smile. I love this woman's face.
Yes, I went on a trip that Marty Moody has every 2 years now, taking a group of people to Israel, and you spend 1 week in an Arab village, and this was part of that week. We stayed at the home of the principal of a middle school, and this is his mother. And she was making pita, which she did almost every day, for all of us for lunch. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg. She had so many pieces of pita on a kind of a sheet on the floor of her apartment. And Alan, not realizing, he'll kill me for saying this, but Alan, not realizing that those were pitas on the floor that were kind of drying out there, stepped on them by accident, not all of them. He only stepped on a couple of them. And of course, they were ruined after that, but everybody got a kind of a laugh out of it, which was really nice considering what he did. But
they're not for wiping your feet on.
No, they're not for wiping your feet on, definitely not.
She was gracious about it. Wow.
Yes, very gracious. But this is what she did. She used one of these old-fashioned stoves, and she had a rack that she pulled out and put the pitas on the rack and cooked them outside. And I do have to remind everybody, even though many people here have been to Israel, it was probably around 100 degrees outside. So she's sitting outside near a hot stove, and it was that hot out. And
wow. And making dinner for her guests. Wow.
Yeah. And there were a ton.
I can only imagine. All right, let's go to the next one. I love her smile. She grabs me on that one. Ooh, where is this? This is also in the trip to Israel?
Yes, that's the Don River. And to be honest, I don't remember all that much about it, except that it does flow into other larger rivers and provides water for a great many people.
Okay, it's beautiful. No parting of the sea on this one, right?
No parting of the sea.
All right, let's go to our next slide.
And this is basically another shot of what I have in back of me. And it's a Rosh Hanikra, and it is a series of caves and grottos in the northern Galilee.
And did you swim in this pool that looks like a fountain of youth?
No, and I don't know that we could, but it kind of follows out into a big body of water, and I don't know whether you could swim in there, but I just thought it was so beautiful. There were so many different photos that I could have taken of that, and as I said, there's one behind me right now. And then this one, but I think I probably have about 20 photos of the caves.
Is that your dog who's joining us?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Wonderful. No, that's wonderful. Maybe
I thought that dog was from Israel.
I thought somebody wanted to sing with us.
You probably would.
All right. And remind me, I think we have at least, do we have one more? Yes. Tell me about this mosaic that you took a picture of this mosaic there.
I took
correct?
a picture. Yeah, I wish I had done it, but it's probably hundreds of years old.
Wow.
And this was taken in Tel Aviv, and I can't even remember where. But when I saw the photo mixed in with my other Tel Aviv photos, I thought this was so beautiful. I had to take a picture of it, and I felt like showing that one.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Dr.
You're
Judy
welcome.
Chesson, and we look forward to seeing more. See how many tables will we have to set up to have 3,000 pictures at the live event. How many tables will you need?
1 million.
1 million. It'll be the Judy show. I love it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing yourself. All right. So, you know how much I love telling history and stories about particular songs, and I hope these details don't bore you because I find them fascinating. So when Mark and I were selecting our songs, this was one of his favorites. This song was written by Stephen Stills over 50 years ago. He was then in the group Buffalo Springfield, and the inspiration, I guess, or the muse or the moment in time that helped to write this song, he was on his way into Hollywood to hear some live music on Sunset Strip, but what he discovered was a rally in progress. He said there were thousands of kids protesting a new curfew and the imminent closing of one club that was called Pandora's Box by way of a fake funeral for it. So the commercial merchants on Sunset Boulevard, they decide the element of the young people on the street every night was just not conducive to their commercial enterprise. In a 1971 interview, Stephen Stills shared some of these details. He said a bunch of kids got together on a street corner and said, "We aren't moving." About 3 busloads of Los Angeles police showed up who looked very much like stormtroopers. He looked at it and he said, "Jesus, America is in danger." Rumor has it that Stephen Stills wrote this song in 15 minutes, and within a few weeks, Buffalo Springfield had recorded it, a song that was, of course, inspired by that night. The track became the band's only hit, peaking at number 7 in the spring of 1967. According to BMI, the song's publishing house, For What It's Worth, has been played 8 million times on TV and radio since its release in 2014. Stephen Stills admitted that the song's title originated, I thought this was interesting, from the phrase that he said to the record company executive who signed the band to the label. He said, "So I have this song here for what it's worth if you want it." But producer Charlie Green claims that Stephen first said this phrase to him, and then there was some discussing about, hey, stop what's going on, the song that would be more easily recognized. It was placed number 63 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time.
Yeah, the song Ohio was similar to that too. They wrote it in like 15 minutes
In
and went
15
and recorded
minutes.
it.
Yeah, and one that no one thought was going to be a hit.
Yeah.
I love those stories. Yeah.
Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines are being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man comes and takes you away. Think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. You gotta stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We gotta stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Yeah. This might be a regular gig, you know that? I'm kind of
Tune in next week, same time, same channel.
Same bad time, same bad channel. All right, Mr. Gruenberg, our wonderful command console behind the scenes. Could we go to our next? We're going to kind of feature them together. These are brand new artists welcoming to our event, Batia and Eli Eshel. I sure hope I pronounced everything correctly. If they're on screen, and I don't know, she said they would be. She has her hands full of grandbabies that definitely are her pride and joy. So she may just be observing elsewhere. So Batia, and go ahead and go to the first slide, because I do love this. Batia and her husband came to the US from Israel. They lived in New York, New Jersey, and California before settling in Ohio to be near their granddaughters. She studied and practiced graphic arts for many years. In addition to teaching early age children, she is also a nature photographer and she paints on yarmulkes. In the last few years, she has been focused on the art of mosaic, combining her love of nature and graphic arts background to create works that are aesthetically appealing and realistic. And then when we get to her husband's work at the very end here of hers, her husband is a retired software engineer and he has been working with wood as a hobby for many years. Since his retirement, he has had a little more time to create works that strive to be both decorative and unique, but also practical. And with that, let me give you a little description. Her inspiration is the eagles are one of her favorite birds of prey. This piece is about 28.5 inches by 23.5 inches. And again, most of these may be available for purchase, and we'll talk about all of those artists at the end about that because I've got little notes here from Batia. All right, let's go to the next one. Coffee cups. I love this one. She considers it whimsical because her husband loves coffee and there's always a pile of cups in the sink. Well, of course, that means that you drink coffee and you enjoy it. I love that piece. That is about 22.5 inches by about 10 inches. That would fit nicely on the wall in my hallway. Yes, it would. All right. Cat and Hummingbird. This is probably my favorite one. It was a view from her window when they lived in California. Aw. All of us. I mean, you have several cat ladies on screen with us. And so, yeah, all of us want either a picture of that or that itself. Yes, we do. All right, let's go to the vases. She considers this an interesting abstract depiction of real objects. Agreed. And I'm assuming glass and wood combined in here, and I will get more details. That's very unique. All right, let's go to the next one, which I believe, and she will correct me at some point if this is wrong, I believe her and her husband probably did this one together. She considers it a useful decorative item to grace any foyer. The size of this little key holder is 18 inches by 6. Enough to hold 4 of your heavy duty keys. Very nice. You may have seen some of her stuff, like her painted yarmulkes. You may have seen some of her stuff and her husband's stuff featured at the Hanukkah Bazaar. And these are some of the bigger things that she sometimes also features. So here we are. These are her husband's works. This is Eli. The curved menorah is about a 13 inch by 4 by 4.5. And the block diagonal menorah is about 11 by 2 inches, if you can visualize that. And yes, these are functional. And I believe, if I have this correct, treated so that you don't have to worry about damaging the wood if you should have dripping of candles. So that is more information to obtain on Eli's work. Let's go to, he also does these amazing toys. There's a bulldozer, a front loader. Is this the front loader? Is that what that would be?
I assume so, yeah.
Okay, I'm a construction girl, can you tell? But just looking at the detail, and I know that one is about 14 inches by 6 by 7. So that's a good size toy, durable and functional. It's not just something to sit on the shelf. It actually is, functional to play with. Do you want one, Mark?
A big one.
You want a big one? Okay. And here are some of the trucks that he also displays. I love the thought of working with wood. I love the smell of wood when you're working with it, from the sanding to the varnishing. I just think these are beautiful. So now we have some more gift ideas, don't we? Did we have another screen of his stuff, or did we put it all? Is that okay? All right, hold on before we get to Steve. All right, so thank you, Batia and Eli Eshel, and welcome to our event. We look forward to having you more often. Yes, and at the next live event. All right, before we do our next song, here's a little backstory on, if you're familiar with the Israeli-American artist, Matisyahu. Matisyahu did almost a folk sound, I think, in the beginning of his career, and then he's gone kind of like a reggae hip hop, but one of my favorite artists. This song he released in 2008. It was his first single since a previous album. It was also included as a last-minute addition to Matisyahu's album Light, if you're familiar with any of those. This song expresses a hope for an end to violence and a prayer for a new era of peace and understanding. It appeared in the modern rock chart at number 21 and at number 38 in the US rock chart. Also in March 2009, it debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 90 and reached number 85. In an interview with Spinner magazine, Matisyahu said, "One Day is a song that I've been wanting to make since I started my career. It is an anthem of hope with a big beat, the kind of song that makes you bob your head and open your heart at the same time." Amen.
Not bad for a Jew. You've done well.
Matisyahu, yay. It's nice when I tell you that, isn't it? There we go.
I'm with you.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown. but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day this will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll be free. I'm proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. I love when a song becomes a prayer unintentionally, and that feels like a prayer. And if you don't mind, just a little sip of room temperature water here.
That's what she's saying it is.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
One room temperature vodka.
All right, it is time to go to our final presenter for the evening. And Mr. Steve Goldberg was present at the second annual, I think he was. Yes, that's right. And I want you to stick around, because we've got a very special song we're going to do once you watch Steve's virtual gallery. He is going to introduce himself, and this is just a beautiful presentation he has put together. So stick around for a moment, watch, smile, observe, and we'll come back for one more final song for the evening. Did I put you on the spot there? No, he's ready. Okay. Sometimes technology is wonderful.
Hi, I'm Stephen Goldberg. I took up photography 6 years ago after I retired. My wife Marsha and I have been traveling around the world, and I take photographs of everything that I see. But I'm limited to one wall in the house where I can display my artworks. So I created a virtual gallery, which has no limitations. So please join me as we take a tour of the virtual gallery, and hopefully later this year, I'll be able to bring some of my prints to the Temple's Art and Music Fair. Thank you.
Please play the music. There's really nice music with this. Like the buzzers.
he doing?
Oh, synagogue. Thank you, Steve Goldberg. That was beautiful. It's time for me to call my travel agent. You have inspired me very much so. All right. As we wrap up this event, I want to thank all of the people who have made this possible. First and foremost, our wonderful artist in alphabetical order, Dr. Judy Chesson and her photography, Batia and Eli Eschel, their artwork and the woodwork, Lorraine Fortner, photography, Stephen Goldberg, photography, Dave London, photography, and Rachel Meyer, artwork and those mosaics. I also want to thank our committee, our sponsoring committee. That is Annette, come in here. Lynn, come in here. That would be Mark Gilbert and myself and Mark's wife, Annette, Dr. Annette Nathan, and where's my hubby? These are the spouses who have put up with our neurosis the last couple weeks. Mr. Lynn Rogers. And I know that we have Karen and Kevin Bressler watching live from Facebook because they just sent us a wonderful text message. Thank you for being there. We also want to thank Ugly Dog Distillery, who was planning on doing a bourbon tasting. So that bourbon tasting will occur at the live event, of
Or they
course.
can come tonight.
Or they, unless you picked up your bottle of Ugly Dog bourbon at your local Arrow wine that we had recommended. Thank you, Dave London, for all of that. We have members of the Linda A. Cohen Yiddish Club who have joined us. And I also want to thank the Temple Bethor Adult Education Committee because they were the ones who helped in some of the brainstorming to take this to a virtual level also, as did Stephen Goldberg. It was really his brainchild to make this what you saw this evening. Musicians, Stephen Wyke, my father, is behind the scenes resting up after some of the crud, so send prayers of blessings and healings to him because we want to hear his voice again. My friend Mark Gilbert, yay! And you know me, I'm just along for the ride. I also want to thank behind the scenes, Mr. Mark Gruenberg. Can you show yourself for a moment? He is the great and powerful wizard behind the curtain who has been pushing all the right buttons, and he's going to be modest, isn't he? Is he going to come on and show his beautiful face?
I can't do that while I'm sharing my screen.
You can't. Okay, we'll see him
long
at the
story.
end. We'll see him at the end. All right. Make sure you have your clothes on, please. I want to thank promotions from Temple Bethor, Gail Jenkins, Donna Broderick, and Brodnick and Ellen Holroyd for their help on that. And also my Yiddish instructor, Mr. Ira Sigalowitz. Yes, I still affectionately refer to him as my Yiddish grandfather. So I hope that he was listening and said she almost got it right, at least, right? And with that, here's a little song to wrap up the evening. A little original tune written by someone who was listening to the news and got tired of it. You know what I'm saying?
Go for it.
I've got something to say now. I got just a few things on my mind. So if you are willing and able, have a seat now and spend a little time. You see, I just can't read that newspaper in the morning. That hating and fighting and killing, it messes with my whole long day. You can say I just want to keep my head in the sand, but what I really want is for everyone to understand. You ready?
Go for it.
You've got to walk the path of love. Don't just talk it, come on, walk the path of love. You gotta mean it when you say it, and say it when you mean it, like you're singing to the heavens above. It's what you're doing when no one else is around. It's what you're thinking when someone is putting you down. So if you're talking, come on and walk it, the path of love. Now when a brother is feeling down on life, he might try to take it out on you. And when a sister's had a fill of pain and strife, she might walk around with the blues. And if somebody asks me, hearted at you, you can turn it all around. Share a smile, share a prayer, a little touch of kindness will always come on home to you. You ready?
Go.
You've got to walk the path of love. Don't just talk it, come on, walk the path of love. You gotta mean it when you say it. Say it when you mean it, like you're singing to the heavens above. It's what you're doing when no one else is around. It's what you're thinking when someone is putting you down. So if you talk it, honey, you gotta come on and walk it, this path of love. Ooh. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we can open it up for any chit chat for a moment if you'd like, or we can just say, that was perfect. Let's go have a glass of wine and go to bed. Would anyone
Not
like
going to bed.
It's an early Saturday. That's right. I want to thank all of you for joining us and for making this happen. Mark, see, there he is, Mr. Mark Grunberg, waving. Say thank you, Mark. He has made it all happen. He has made it all happen for us. And you have made it happen by joining us. Lorraine, I see you took yourself off mute. Do you have something brilliant to say as you usually do?
Well, I was just going to say we need to thank Mary for really putting all of this together.
Yay!
And making it happen. It's her brainchild, many more than that years ago, I suppose, and pulling it all off and making it work.
Thank you, Lorraine. Well, you are my inspiration, the artist, and then getting together with Mark, and yes, all of you are my inspiration. So thank you. We have many musicians who want to be featured in an open stage. Some of them are members of our choir, some are members of our temple community, and some are outside of the temple community who all want to be a part of the open stage when we do this live. I don't want it just to be about me and Mark, although, you know, Mark
We
kind
could
of
do a
enjoys it.
3-day event.
We could do a 3-day event.
There you go.
There you go. Get
Big
your
festival.
Woodstock.
Jewish Woodstock.
Did you-
Absolutely. We could set up tents.
Get your Jew stock.
Get your Jew stock. Yes, absolutely.
Tickets. I love it. All right. Anybody else want to make comments? I see a couple people took themselves off mute.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Judy Chesson, there you are.
Yes, I just want to thank you for doing this, and Mark for doing this. I think you guys did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Avon. She signed in to join us. Is that
Mary?
Avon, my little guitar student? How awesome. I just showed her everything not to do, didn't I?
You watched part of it.
I love it. All right, so we can take it off of live if anyone wants to stay on and chit chat. I think that's beautiful, Mark, if you want to take it off of the live, and then we can slowly start backing out of our beautiful